This ain't the first time that this has happened, and it won't be the last. What is going on, peoples? Man, so the Suicide Boys have made a song using one of my packs, and the name of the song is called Fuck the Culture. I want to go ahead and show you guys how I made the vocal for that so that you guys can see that there is some proof to that, as well as other documented things, as like my preview video that I did that will play the samples and stuff that were used in that song. I'm not knowing of the producer that made the song, but if you don't know who the Suicide Boys are, they're a pretty popular group that does funk type music or old school Memphis 90s, late 80s, early 90s type rap or whatnot, like 666. And that's pretty much the mantra of Lords of Funk anyways, because I'm a huge Memphis rap fan. I'm a huge fan of DJ Paul, and I really like the Suicide Boys, to be honest. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the proof. I'm gonna show you the tweet that I got where someone pointed it out. I'm not gonna show all the DMs or whatnot, and then I'm gonna go ahead and weigh in on my hot take. So a person that doesn't follow me by the name of Creepy Young Gal hit me up with a tweet and it said, "Yo, in your funk drum kit, did you record your own vocals for the one that said Glock Tight Smoked Out, or is that a sample?" It's not a sample, by the way, guys. And that's when I responded in quotations, "That's my voice, LOL, I need to drop a volume 2 for the culture." And funny enough, the song is named Fuck the Culture. I don't know. Anyways, so Dita chimes in with a meme and the saga continues, because I'm pretty sure it knows my backstory or whatnot. And then Creepy Young Gal responded again saying, "Did you hear the Suicide Boys song that used it? On Genius, they credited the MC Max song as a sample." What? And to be quite frank, and shout out to my dude Skinny Pimp, because he said Glock Tight Smoked Out in the song. It wasn't repeatedly said like how I did it, but he used that in his bar, and I didn't want to use his vocal for my sample pack that I'm selling. So what I did was I said Glock Tight Smoked Out, and I'm gonna show you in a little bit. That's when I responded, "Did it sound exactly the same?" Because I did reuse a saying to keep it from violating copyright. So, you know, I just keeping it real. And then Creepy Young Girl responded by saying exactly the same, and they showed me the song Fuck Your Culture. And that's when I realized to myself, I didn't even know that Suicide Boys was signed to Universal Music Group. So it's actually gonna be a bigger thing, a bigger issue down the line for me, just in case I use that sample, because they're gonna try and say that they did it first, or that they created that from scratch. And that's when I said, OMG, they even use my loops I made too. That's awesome as fuck, because I think it's really cool. So I will have this song, Fuck Your Culture, linked in the description box, because I think it's a pretty neat song. It's nice to make a track without making a track, eh? And then further proof over here, which I'll have this linked in the description box with the funk drum kit samples, best royalty free over here. Keep in mind that I made this sample pack November 9th, 2019. I know a lot of people are going to point out the obvious and say, "Oh man, well you can't sue them anyways. You said it was royalty free." It's still my copyright. I can do what the hell I want with my copyright. Though I'm not gonna be salty like that unless Universal Music Group copyright strikes my channel, then I will have an issue. So I made the pack itself. I actually made it in Ableton Live and FL Studio. So I actually have the project files over here. So you can hear it right now. Glock Tight Smoked Out, Glock Tight Smoked Out, Glock Tight. Go ahead and turn this off real quick. Glock Tight Smoked Out, Glock Tight Smoked Out, Glock Tight Smoked Out. I want y'all to hear that, and now I'm gonna play it with the double. Glock Tight Smoked Out, Glock Tight Smoked Out, Glock Tight Smoked Out, Glock Tight Smoked Out. And now the most important part, because it did have drums in behind it, and that's how like a lot of Memphis chants sound to me. You can always hear like an instance of like some drums, and that's what makes it worth being chopped like that, like how it was in the song Fuck the Culture. Glock Tight Smoked Out, Glock Tight Smoked Out, Glock Tight Smoked Out. So that's a drum line that I created, right? So the next thing is, it still sounds like normal vocals. Glock Tight Smoked Out, Glock Tight Smoked Out. So the next thing I had to do, of course, was process it. And what I usually do, and this is my chain, I never wanted to do this video, but I just want to show you guys how you can get your own sample vocals and stuff like that without chopping up other people's shit. So I use Rvox. Lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out. And the next thing I did over here, seeing right here is the gate. So I have the gate all the way up so it can chop up properly, like how it would in a old Memphis rap tape. Or you know what I'm saying? So the next thing I did was I added some compression, and then I lowered the gain, of course, to stop any type of clipping from me adding in compression. Because when you do it over here in Rvox, that's what happens. Is, you know, it will get louder, but it will squeeze the vocal or whatever else is passing through here. It's on my master bus anyway, so you know my master chain is set up like that. So next thing, some reverb. Lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out, lock. So without it, it's dry. Tight, smoked out. And then a little bit of a pitch of reverb from Kleverb. Lock, tight, smoked out. You hear the, again, it's just like a room reverb, and room reverbs are really good with bringing out a larger presence in your vocals here. So, you know, that's the one thing. Lock, tight, smoked out, that most people will probably avoid there. But you can actually hear that in a lot of old Memphis rap, because a lot of them cats, they recorded in their house. So it had a nice rough recording, and the room had an extra little bit of echo in there. So that's why things like making music in that manner, you know, it brings out the best in the artist, because it's not the best environment altogether, but you're recording in your environment instead of like some damn multi-million-dollar damn studio and making music that nobody give a damn about. Next thing I did was put in some lo-fi. Lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out. And that's when you start hearing how the actual vocal sounds like in the song there. And that's when I will pull up my favorite, one of my favorite, the lo-fi plugins that I never really talk about, but I do have a video on it, and it's Reels by Audiothing. And yeah, it just makes it sound really good. You know, has that tape vibe to it. You know, a lot of lower frequency content lost, a lot of higher frequency content added. Lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out. Or actually the exact opposite there. A little bit more lower frequency in there. Just like some mighty mids, and the highs being crushed out or washed out. Lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out, lock. The next thing, I do double process, but not this one, I don't think. Just to add tape hiss. Let me go ahead and shut my goddamn mouth so you can hear the tape hiss. So you can hear this tape hiss here, and this just makes it a little better for the actual project. And if I was to play that though. Lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out, lock, tight, smoked out. This gives a little bit more to this record here. Other things in here, and you can hear a lot of my other shit that I did too as well, like the whole and like other things too as well. Like I did this part right here. I'm outside. Man, I enjoyed making this pack. That's why I'm gonna do another one. A lot of the drums that I did were made with the 808 core kit that's inside of Ableton Live. And you know, if you can hear that, just by different processing inside of my master, because I don't really care if I'm gonna wash away how the drums sound like, because I'm gonna end up normalizing them or make them as loud as I want them to be in the recording or whatever. And there's this hidden gem right here. I use this a whole bunch to make that pack. And this is like one of those cheap plugins that cost like $14. Xpand. That's pretty much that sound right there. But the secret behind that sound, and not just picking out the simple strings, is your master. Like whatever you set up your master or your plugin chain to be, that will affect a different vibe to it. And that's just basically that. And now for the hot take. This is what y'all want. Y'all want the spicy stuff, and I'm here to give it to you. So I'm not really mad at Suicide Boys for them making a song with that pack. Like, it's quite obvious that I made those loops and stuff like that, and that's what they're meant for, is for you to be able to create with them. I'm not one of those guys that are really into setting people up for failure, though I did say in my EULA that I should be credited, and you know, nonetheless, but that just dives into another problem that is when it comes down to sound design. As much as I love sound design, I really get bummed out when I make presets, drum kits, sample packs, and etc. And then some Joe Schmo renames all the samples, renames the presets, which has happened several of times. And a lot of your favorite content creators on YouTube and fake ass producers out here love to do stuff like that and love to pirate stuff and whatever. And then I get lost in the sauce and I never get any credit for it. But I mean, you know, that's, I guess, is a part of the game. What I'm not going to tolerate is if my videos that I use those samples, because I have used those samples on many tracks, unreleased, released publicly, and if I get a copyright strike on one of those songs, which UMG, they're signed to UMG, by the way, I'm going to sue back. I'm going to countersue, and I'm going to countersue for a lot of money. I'm going to sue like hell if I get a copyright strike, because I'm not going to tolerate that type of bullshit from YouTube or from UMG for them to have a song that is produced and nobody, you know, gives me any credit whatsoever. Didn't never demand any money from it. And there's some other songs out there right now that are lingering with a whole bunch of samples that I've created and I have not said a word. Very popular songs, by the way, that are out right now on people's platinum album where I was not credited whatsoever or given a shout out. But I'm not really going to jump the gun on it because the Suicide Boys may have reached out to me. Like, so many people reach out to me all the time on IG, Twitter, and other social media platforms, and it's just ridiculous. Like, even my email, to this very day, I get at least 100 emails a day, and it's like from a ton of people, either scammers or people asking questions that I've already answered on my YouTube channel. I hate to sound like I'm being an asshole right now, but, you know, sometimes, man, it's a little abrasive when people ask you questions that you have already answered in that particular video as well. So, yeah, it's just like, man, I will let it slide until something like a copyright strike happens on my channel. Then I'm going to take some action, then legal action. And it is not to smite the Suicide Boys, but to smite UMG, which has done a horrendous job with working with content creators like Rick Beato, which they have striked him, and he does so much for music altogether, more so than a lot of the artists on their current roster right now, and many other YouTube channels as well. I would have to take a stance for us if that happens. But other than that, though, I'm really happy that the Suicide Boys made Fuck the Culture. I really like the song. I mean, I really like the loops when I made them. But other than that, though, and I'm not trying to be a smart ass either, because whoever put that together, I really do appreciate you. And hopefully you will shop with me yet again.